Well, that was very, very inevitable. A really entertaining game, actually, on Friday night in the end. And I've taken a couple of days to reflect and kind of gather my thoughts on the whole scenario, really. And I've seen some overreaction from Watford fans on social media, actually. Some fans being really, really angry. And actually, I thought the performance generally was pretty good. We limited Plymouth to very few chances. All the chances they did have were from really difficult angles and from outside of the box. And ultimately, the two goals they scored were from two very, very good finishes. Unfortunately for us, the two finishes came via former Watford player Andre Gray, who didn't receive the greatest of receptions, it has to be said. But let's talk about his first and second goal before we move on to the Watford goals and our overall performance. And Andre Gray's first goal was so good. I have to say, I was doing a live match watch along here on the channel, and the first goal, I couldn't quite believe he scored that. I think it was unexpected for everyone watching the game. Actually, the ball came down, dropped on his foot really nicely, and he hit it first time from such a tight angle. And I think there were slight question marks about Daniel Batman and whether he should have at least attempted to have dived for that ball. But for me personally, the finish was really good. I mean, we very rarely saw that from Andre Gray at Watford. But I have to say, he was clearly riled up in this game against his former club. Maybe he had something to prove against the Watford fans who had criticised him for quite a while during his time with us. But yeah, the first goal, people are comparing it to Van Persie for Manchester United. Of course, that famous volley, I think against Arsenal it was, to win them the league title. You remember Rooney put a really good ball over to Van Persie, who hit it on the half volley. And this Andre Gray goal was slightly different. But yeah, as I said, the angle he shot from was really tight. Batman should have done better, I would say. But I'm not a goalkeeping expert. I don't think, fans who are blaming Daniel Batman entirely for them two goals, I think is slightly ridiculous. I don't think Batman could have done too much. I think what fans are more asking for is just at least make it look like you're attempting to dive for the ball rather than standing there looking around like you don't know what's going on. So, that's my one critique for Daniel Batman. And I don't think Watford defensively could have done much differently for the first goal. The second goal, on the other hand, that Andre Gray scored, Watford definitely could have handled that better. At that stage in the game, I think it was around the 94th minute. Watford, all we had to do was clear the ball down the line, get it out of danger, and see the game out. I think it was Kayembe who took the ball down. He could have cleared it, but instead he attempted a pass, got dispossessed. Plymouth obviously regained possession. The ball made its way out to the left-hand side where Andre Gray was occupying space. And he curled it right into that far corner at the very death. Home Park, of course, erupted, as they should do, a last-minute equaliser. That put the nail in the coffin for Watford, really. So defensively for the second goal, question marks once again. But for me, positive to take. We didn't lose. It's a point on the road, which we haven't achieved so far this season. I think that's the first time, actually, that Watford have lost points from winning positions in the league. So when Watford have led, so far, up until the Plymouth game, we've always gone and secured the 3 points. So actually, when you look at it from that perspective, it's not too negative. And the Watford goals, actually, I think the second goal, particularly from Ryan Porteous, was really well worked. The first goal come from some good play between Georgie and Larouche. Larouche made his way down the left-hand side and put a really tasty ball, actually, into the penalty area for Bakumbayo to poke away at the back stick. Now, Bayo isn't necessarily the most sexiest of footballers to watch. I've said this before. His finishes are always quite unorthodox in the way he finishes to score his chances. Sometimes he puts away a decent chance, like the chip we saw against Sheffield Wednesday, or the scorpion kick at home a month or so ago at Vicarage Road. But this finish was very strange. He made contact with his foot and then the ball bounced up, kind of hit his groin area, bounced off that, and then ultimately found its way into the back of the net. But ultimately, look, they all count. Bayo scored his 7th goal of the season already, so he's well on track to get double digits in the Championship this season, which is really good to see. Obviously, Mileta was Watford's top goal scorer last season, I think, with 11 Championship goals. So, Bayo, he's only got to score 4 more goals, for the rest of the season to at least equal Rajovic's total, which you would hope he would do. The second goal, really well worked by Watford. I think this is where Paul Robinson comes in with his expertise in the set piece area. I think it was Imran Louza who stood over the set piece. He dinked a lovely ball in behind the Plymouth back line for Matty Pollock to run onto, who showed a decent bit of pace and composure. Pollock put a nice ball across the penalty area into some good space, and then Ryan Porteous clearly worked from the training ground, was running onto it with a delightful finish actually past Grimshaw in goal for Plymouth. He couldn't do much about it. And at that point of the game, it was 2-1. And then, of course, as I mentioned earlier, ultimately Watford just lost a bit of composure in the last moments of that game, which led to Andre Gray scoring that equalising goal. But in conclusion and in summary, positives to take. Very pleased we picked up our first points on the road this season. I think we need to turn a few more of them defeats into draws, and that should propel Watford up the table if we continue our really good home form at Vicarage Road. And yeah, quite an interesting run of fixtures coming up in the next week or so. Bristol City on Tuesday night, which are a pretty good Championship team actually. A solid outfit. Bristol City are quite a funny team in my eyes because they never seem to be facing relegation. They never seem to get dragged into a playoff race or an automatic promotion battle. They always just languish around mid-table, which is a good thing because it shows that they're quite a well-run club. Although as a fan, it must be quite boring where you're not going up or down, you're just languishing around the same positions each season. But that will be the toughest game, I think, on Tuesday night this coming week. And then we have QPR back at Vicarage Road once again on Saturday, who are really struggling this season. And that is a game we really should be targeting to get the 3 points from. So a very busy but very exciting week to come for Watford. Let me know your thoughts on the Plymouth game in the comment section down below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you again very, very soon. Bye-bye.